to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go. Be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free. Be free.
Nice. Welcome. Another day of crushing COVID. Welcome to the show, May 25th. Let's go. All right. Welcome to the show, guys. It is May 25th. I am your host, Nathan Amaral. So glad you found yourself here again. If this is your first time, post new in the comments below. If this is your first time to Crushing COVID Daily. If it's your first time, new in the comments. If you've been here already and been following along on the Crushing COVID show, then say, hey, I've been here already, or give it a thumbs up so I know that you're here. Good to have you here. We are narrowing down the days. We're just a few days off. I was looking at schedule and what we can fit in for time frame. Guys, we got like 6 days left remaining until the 31st of the Crushing COVID show. And then we're going to transition next month into more of a real estate focused show, how to make money online through real estate investing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. But I with the amount of days that we have left, you guys have asked, a number of you guys have asked, to do certain topics. I mean, we've covered so many things like, what is my what is my stock portfolio strategy? We've covered who are the most biggest people that have influenced me. Man, it's just been a whole bunch. I mean, go back into all the days that we've done Crushing COVID. And I thank you, by the way. And if you're looking for something very specific that you want to me to train on in the next few days, let me know, because I'm compiling them. And then if I don't get to them during CRUSHIN COVID show, then I'll push it up into the future. Also, you should get over to my YouTube channel right here. It's scrolling below. Go to YouTube, just type in Fearless Millionaire, and you can subscribe to be notified right on the show. I am the creator of Fearless Millionaire, which has been in existence for about 10 years now. And what we do is we specifically help investors, entrepreneurs, help them build their business, helping them gain more clarity, confidence, and cash flow. And we have a unique process in the way we do that. And it really helps a lot of people. And so many great testimonials we've had, success stories, people making money, gaining more clarity on how to build their business, how to scale their business. It's awesome. I was just actually setting up a game plan for one of my clients this morning about how we're restructuring the company and processes and procedures. And it's one of those moments. It just reminds me of, it reminds me of all the success stories that I've had prior to that. When we make small changes in our life, little tweaks in the business, that it can create some serious results, which is amazing. So yeah, that's what it's all about. And we're narrowing down what we're doing here with CRUSHIN COVID. Man, I did get some news updates. How you doing? How you doing on this, this COVID? I mean, I'm reading the news. By the way, for those in the United States, happy Memorial Day. I salute every veteran that has played a part. We actually, when I took my family around the United States, we actually stopped by a few veteran memorials. But so I hope you're also having a good time, spending time with family, and all that good stuff. So get that R&R in for sure. However, I'm hearing a lot of crazy stuff going on, which is, I guess, kind of common for the United States. But one of the things I heard was, for example, I guess COVID is now spreading into animals. Is that true? Is it not true? All I know is what I saw in my, where is it, right here? That in North Carolina, they're going to euthanize 1.5 million chickens. Now, I hope COVID doesn't branch off into what was it? Was it not swine flu? What was it? SARS? I can't remember what virus that was, where it was all the chickens. If you remember, let me know. Post it in the comments. But I remember when all the chickens were sick. Was that 2003? And they had to kill all these chickens, and chicken became scarce. I love chicken. I just love chicken so much. So I hope that's not a worldwide issue. But I heard this morning in the news here that 1.5 million chickens will be euthanized. Now, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, when I hear that number 1.5 million, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of chicken. But I was consulting with this this poultry farm, and they also did distribution in Uganda. And I remember them saying, in our conversation where we were talking about numbers, we went in, we were diagnosticating what's going on in the business, how we can infuse the business with more cash, and also increase the productivity of each team. And there were all these teams. Anyway, we were just in conversation talking about numbers, and I remember the owner and the general manager, they were talking about numbers of how many chickens they have and how many they kill for food. What do they call that? Slaughterhouse, right? The slaughtering. Yeah. So they literally butcher. That sounds bad. Butchery sounds horrible. It sounds like a bad term. It sounds like a cuss word. But they literally kill about 1.5 million chickens a month. A month. I was like, wait, what? A month? Now, I know there's a lot of chicken out there, but can you imagine 1.5 million chickens a month just to be packaged and shipped out and for food? That's a lot of chickens. I mean, I was shocked. I was like, really? That many chickens? I mean, is that many people? It's pretty interesting. It's really, really interesting. I also heard in the news that President Trump is looking to, or threatens to, relocate. I don't know if the word threaten is a really good thing, but he took to Twitter and threatened to relocate convention I guess that must be the Republican convention, right? If Governor Cooper doesn't allow full attendance in Charlotte, North Carolina. And another cool fact, which is really interesting, I didn't know this even when I was living in Charlotte, is the world's largest flying American flag is in Gastonia, and it stands over 225 feet tall. I was like, what? That's crazy. That's amazing. But that's just American flag. Of course, if you go to, I think it's France, where they have the world's largest flag, and it's a France flag. If I stand corrected, I mean, I might need to do a little Google research on this. But if I recall correctly, I remember being in France and there was this huge flag, and I'm like, wow, that is like the biggest flag I've ever seen. And when I asked someone, I think either I asked or maybe it was in my Google Trips or something like that, and it said it's the world's largest flying flag in the world, and I believe it's the France flag. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I read, or maybe it was once upon a time, something like that. Either way, pretty interesting. All right, guys, I also wanted to say a big thank you for those. We did get a few donations for some of those who wanted to help the teachers over in Uganda. I appreciate that. We took your funds, combined it with some of my funds, and we put it together. We already started distributing food already to those 11 teachers. If you do want to contribute to the cause still, you can go right to that link that's right there, bit.ly/UG-COVID. So if you're still interested in doing that, I appreciate those who already have donated, even in the past, but even just yesterday and over the weekend. Thank you so much for that. And we immediately sent those funds over to Uganda to make sure the teachers are taken care of during this time. You know, it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of there's a lot of anxiety going on in the marketplace across the world where people want to get back to work, they want things to get back to normal, and just things happening. So even here on the island, you know, today's the 25th, where we're supposed to have the shops were all allowed by law to, I don't want to say by law, but by recommendation. It's not really a law, but it's you know, they're allowed to now open up their shops again. Okay, so it's interesting because I thought everybody would be open today. Like everybody just, the doors would be open to every shop and everything's back to normal the way it was and everybody just has to wear face masks. But it's not the case at all. Actually, what I'm seeing is an increase of rehabilitation. I'm seeing an increase of people opening up their shops, but it's just like the owners and contractors. They're like remodeling a bunch of things and getting things done and cleaned out and organized. They're just outside here. They're replacing some windows, so you might hear a little bit of jackhammering going on. But yeah, so again, it's just, I think it's just a matter of time before we start seeing some shops open up here. So, and I also hear that over in the United States, we're supposed to be having, you know, more states are opening up over time, and we'll see how that goes one day at a time. All right, so I also, one more thing before we get into, I didn't even tell you what today's topic was. Today we're going to, speaking of like reconstruction or remodeling, how about remodeling for your company? Today's topic is how to create core values for your company, and we're going to be talking about that. So if your company doesn't have core values, I highly recommend it, and I'll share a little bit more with you on that and just give you a little presentation on that as well. So I will jump over to here. I want to announce the giveaway. Hey, Melissa, what's going on? Nice to see you. By the way, happy birthday. Happy birthday. You know, I have, you know.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
That's for you, Melissa. Happy birthday. So glad. Gosh, I don't even know how young you are anymore. I really don't. Not that you have to say that publicly, but I know we're like similar in age, or you're like 10 years older than me or something like that, right? I'm just kidding. Anyway, guys, I want to let you know that down below is the giveaway right there. You can get over to our giveaway. You still have a chance. I think we have like 5 days remaining. So it's bit.ly/fearless-giveaway. You can get over to the giveaway, and we're going to give away 5 lucky spots. 5 lucky spots to people who want to learn how to invest online, how to be a remote real estate investor. Whoa, Melissa's a big 40. Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's a whole nother level. That's a whole nother level I'm not looking forward to. So I did want to remind you that when you guys go to that website right there, and Melissa, by the way, I hope your birthday was awesome. I really do. And after you guys go to that website and you enter to win, okay, after you enter to win, it's going to take you to this page right here. It's going to look something like this. Okay, congratulations, you're in. You're going to want to check your inbox and confirm that you're eligible to win. Okay, so you want to confirm your email. And then to get extra entries, what you want to do is click these boxes and it will take you to the designated space. So you want to click the share to Twitter and then you share it to Twitter. Share it to Facebook, share it on Messenger, and you get additional entries, okay? Also, when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you get 5 additional entries. Watch a fun video on our YouTube channel. By the way, this is a really crazy video. It's really interesting. 3 entries. Click here every day for more entries. You can get 2 entries every day. Watch another video and like us on Facebook, 7 entries. Bam, you do all those, you get multiple entries. Guys, we have so many contestants. I think we're over like 40 contestants and we have hundreds and hundreds of entries. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. This is really, I'm really excited for whoever's going to win these 5 spots. It's really going to be great. And also, just to give you a quick glance here, this is the fasting for family. I don't need to show. Now I'm just getting you guys distracted here. All right, so let's go. This is what we're going to do. We have a topic today about creating your core values. I'm going to pull up my keynote, my PowerPoint here. Let's see here. And I'm also going to give you some examples of how to create your company core values. First, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you the example of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is actually a company that I've not only did I have to study Coca-Cola years ago in school and as I was going through what I like to call professional foosball with a degree. No, but reality is when I was in college, a lot of the training and business training that I did a lot of studying on Peter Drucker, and which is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal for any business person to learn and study. And then also one of the things that never left me was the way Coca-Cola had built their company and also the core values that was like embedded to me through my professor, one of my professors in particular. And so what we did, what I did actually was a special challenge to me because I was the only one who had to present in the class, was I had to study Coca-Cola, go to understand its core values and mission, and I had to do this whole study on it. It was very in-depth and I had to present on it. And so what I learned and discovered in that time frame is because Coca-Cola, by the way, is I think it's over 100 years now, right? Off the top of my head, sorry, I don't have exact dates in my head, but it's a very old company. Most companies don't last this long, and one of the things that they embody is this core values that actually a lot of companies and lectures have been built on, because there's not many companies that have lasted that long. So I want to go over theirs first, because actually a lot of my clients that I've trained over the years, a lot of clients that have hired me, some of my more expert clients in real estate investing, when they're scaling a company, maybe they have 2 or 3 employees, they want to scale and grow bigger. They not only want to do more deals each month, but they also want to scale their team and build a bigger team. So in order to do that, you have to create a company culture. And there's actually some more great companies that have done that. Actually, even with Zappos is another company that has done that really well, and Amazon and so forth. There's many other companies that have done this really well in the past 10 years. Coca-Cola is more of a foundation for what a lot of these companies also have branched into. So let's kick it off with Coca-Cola's like purpose and vision. And by the way, everything I'm mentioning here is something that you should have in your company, no matter how small it is or how big it is. You should definitely have this. This is not just for big companies, by the way. This starts even with small companies. Why? Because all companies start off small, right? So you should definitely have these in your company, even if it's guiding you and maybe your business partner. All right. So one thing we start off with is their purpose, which is refresh the world and make a difference, right? That's the purpose of Coca-Cola, to refresh the world and make a difference. Really big statement there. I also think of that as like a BHAG, a big audacious, hairy goal, right? Which is known in the goal setting world. So make a difference, though. Make a difference is really, really interesting. If you think about what Coca-Cola has done and where you see them and how they've made a difference, one of the biggest differences that Coca-Cola has made, even just to entrepreneurs, is they've offered like free, like I can think of just for Uganda, for example, they've offered free marketing material for their company, whether it was a signage, whether it was banners, stuff like that. They've offered free things to help the entrepreneur get started. And they've taken on the cost to make that happen. Yes, it does have their logo on it and it helps their brand as well, co-advertising, but also it's an initiative to help, the entrepreneur just starting out. They've also done things for charities as well. I mean, endless, even when it comes to like water supply in different countries, Coca-Cola is a big leader. You should definitely check out more of what they've done. And even this video under here would probably say that as well. However, I can't play the video because we'll probably get copy striked. So I can't play that video here. So our vision is to craft the brands and choice of drinks that people love, to refresh them in body and spirit, and done in ways that create more sustainable business and better shared future that makes a difference in people's lives, community, and our planet. Right? Love that because they talk about not only sustainability. This is more of a key word that's come out more recently in the past 15 years, creating sustainability, but also the brands. Coca-Cola has developed themselves into many big brands. They not only have one. There's hundreds of Coca-Cola brands. Sometimes you don't even know that you're drinking a Coca-Cola drink. You just know it as that particular thing, right? Maybe think it's Sprite, or I could go on and on. Propel water, Dasani water, right? And I could go on and on. There's so many other brands that they have that a lot of people may not know. Oh, this is the Coca-Cola company. So I remember a really great experience is going to the Coca-Cola World of Coke down in Atlanta, Georgia. Great experience down there where you can experience all this down there. So yeah, that's something you should definitely check out. Okay, so who we are. Let's, I already clicked on this. It's already up here. I want to give you an overview and you can see how they mapped out. This is still Coca-Cola. How they've mapped out their core values. Who we are the Coca-Cola company. The purpose, there is the purpose to refresh the world and make a difference. And then over here, which is kind of hard for me to see on this angle. All right. Loved brands, the vision. Hold on one second. Love brands done sustainably for a better shared future. Our vision is to craft the brands and choice of drinks that people love, to refresh them in body and spirit, right? That's what we read earlier. How we do it, behaviors we focus on, and what does that say? The conscious we follow. So you see how they have, they break this down not only just for, this is not just for customers, guys. This is actually for their people, their team, who they are, right, as a unit. So when people come to work every day, and if you've ever been inside or had a tour of any of the Coca-Cola factories, which I've seen in Uganda, they have their big mission up on the walls. And this is actually something we also did in one of the chicken companies down there, the poultry companies, that we follow the same format because it makes a really big impact on people, under the employees. You want to have a vision for them that they can follow, right? Something that the employees and the directors, everyone in the organization needs to follow and needs to have this vision of where are we going. Because, at times people are going to feel a certain type of way about the job they have, right? They may not feel appreciated. They may not feel that they're enjoying it anymore, that they're living their true highest potential, right? And so what core values does in a company, it sets the vision for something beyond someone's self, right? It sets it beyond themselves, because if we just focus on ourselves, which is, low-end paying petty jobs will do that to someone, right? It will get them focusing on themselves a lot. And that's where you'll hear people complain, right? If you hear people complaining on their job, like while they're on the job, publicly complaining in front of everybody, then you can tell they're not embodying the mission, right? I'll give you an example. The other day, I was in a grocery store here locally. It's actually a grocery store that I don't go to regularly. And while I was in there were these two employees who were just bashing the situation that was going on and bashing the managers, like literally publicly. It wasn't a break room conversation. It wasn't a text message conversation. This was on the floor publicly while customers are walking around. So in that example, do you think those ladies like really embodied the company mission, right? Do you think there was values there that they were following? No, there isn't. Because when people do that, when people act that way and they try to, see, everybody has their breaking point, right? There's going to be a breaking point where people will get to a point and maybe you've seen these videos like on YouTube or something where, people publicly quit and they quit in anger and there's a whole shouting scene goes on, right? And also I've seen some that where they quit and it's they bring in a band and and it's all fun stuff like that. But the reality is that if people are they feel unappreciated, if they feel like they have no purpose, if they feel like there's no value into what they're doing, then it's going to be a hard ride. It really is. They won't last long. And today more than ever, it matters more than ever before, because the millennial generation is not like the baby boomer generation. Baby boomer generation, also going back to the Industrial Revolution, years ago, in the United States. Of course, every different countries are having their fourth Industrial Revolution right now. But going back to the baby boomer generation and our great grandparents, work was a different environment. It was very different. It wasn't because we did it because it was something that matched our goals and our dreams. No, it was actually just a necessity. It was a necessity to life, to live, right? And don't get me wrong, there's still places in the world like that, right? Of course. I mean, I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. However, we've seen in the past few years that there's more people, especially in this generation of millennials and the next generation, which I think is Generation Y. I just forgot the next generation's name. Now that I want it, I just forgot it. Sorry. So we're seeing now, especially with millennials, that work has to have purpose. Work has to have a meaning. People will leave their job if they feel like there is no meaning in it. It's got to have meaning. It's got to have a form of giving back to the community in some way. That's why you've seen in the past 10 years, you've probably seen a lot more companies that have a charity attached to it. Heck, even Fearless Millionaire has a charity attached to it where we donate money. Like I said, even in the beginning, we donate profits to, back into underprivileged children in Uganda who need to be in school. We do outreach efforts. Why? Why do we do that? Well, one, because I'm a millennial, but two, it's that idea and that philosophy that we need to give back into what we received. And it's that whole belief again about what you give, when you give, you shall receive. And this is very, very important in today's world. Okay, it's very important because it's very hard to keep people employed in your group, in your company, in your team, if you're scaling and growing and there's no vision. If there's no vision, what? People perish. I don't know if you ever heard that scripture before, and don't quote me what scripture it is. You can look it up, but it's there, and that's true. And so people need that vision so that they can know what direction they're going in. All right. So let's go back here. This is Coca-Cola's. There's a bunch here. This is like a summary sheet of who they are, their purpose, how they do it. Right now, I want to take you over to another company which has done this remarkably well, and that's Nike. Nike's done a great job at doing that. Let's start off with their mission statement, which is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And I love how the asterisk is there and it says, if you have a body, you are an athlete. I love that because, when you think of athletes, right, you think of, people you see in sports and you see them doing their thing on TV and stuff like that, or however, people who are maybe running every day, right? Those are athletes. No, the way Nike ended up branding themselves is in a way where it's like, no, everybody's an athlete. Isn't that powerful? So that means everybody needs to be wearing Nike. And Nike's target audience is everybody, right? And that's a very, very big mission. Very big. Okay. But you remember this, Nike didn't start off like that. I don't know if you've ever read Phil Knight's book. I can't remember the name. Oh, Shoe It, just Shoe It. I can't even remember the name. I'm so sorry. I'm over here trying to guess. Um, I'm trying to guess the name of that book.
Happy birthday.
Oh, no, we don't want happy birthdays right now.
When will you stop?
Oh my goodness, what is going on? Sorry about that. Let me get the name of the book for you. Yeah, Shoe Dog. Shoe Dog. That's it. So it's Shoe Dog. I knew it had something to do with the word shoe in there somewhere. So it's called Shoe Dog. And I would check out that book. It's a really great read. But remember, Nike first started out working with shoes and shoes only. That's how they started, with shoes. And by the way, did you guys know that the Nike logo was $10? He paid $10 for the Nike logo at that time. And that was it was incredible. Isn't that amazing? $10. That's like someone having a logo that you can get from Fiverr today. Go to fiverr.com and get a logo done for $5 or $20 or whatever. And but I think there's a great story behind that. How Phil paid $10 for the logo, but I think he even went back and gave more money to the woman who, I think it was a woman, if I recall correctly, gave the logo of the Nike swoosh. Really great story, by the way. So this is a really big mission, and one things that you want to be careful with missions this large is if your company's that big, then go for it. But you want to start off a lot smaller. Remember, Nike started off in shoes first, and they heavily focused on building the brand of shoes. Today, they're in on everything from bags to caps to specs, right? I mean, everything. So they've really done a great job at positioning themselves to that everyone is an athlete. Everyone needs to wear their stuff. Huge. I mean, and Nike's sales has dramatically increased over the past few years, like a lot. So, and because of that mission, if they didn't have that mission, well, they probably wouldn't be making those sales, right? Imagine if Nike just hung out with shoes the entire time, they would be missing out on a lot. So, all right, let's jump into the slide portion here. Right here. Okay, how to create company core values for your company, for your team, and what you're trying to build. All right, so the first thing is you want to assemble a team. Now, I want to make something clear here. If you are a solopreneur, which I don't recommend, but if you are doing something all alone and you have no assistant and it's just you and no business partner, then I don't recommend I don't recommend doing this exercise, okay? What you want to do is either bring on an assistant or maybe a spouse, okay? Or if you have a business partner, great, or a coach or a mentor to help you do this part, okay? Because you're going to, when you're brainstorming core values, you don't want to just have this tunnel vision of whatever is in your head, okay? You want to have other people interject, give their ideas and viewpoints, but they should have some tie to the company. So even if it's a spouse or even if it's a business partner, they should come together to have to speak into the core values of the company. Okay. So next is that's not next at all. All right, where is I'm still trying to figure out how to change my slide on this with using all this software. So you got to bear with me. Let me just do this real quick. Let's just do this. It's a lot easier that way. Okay. All right, number 2. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that all ideas are on the table. Now, this is a very important part, okay? Because you do not want to ridicule or laugh or mock, make fun of any ideas. Okay. No idea is small and no idea is too big. No idea is stupid. What you want to do is have all ideas on the table. And what you want to do is write them down. Okay. Write them down, call it a brain dump, if you will, and make sure someone is in charge of this process. Okay. This is why you need a team to do this. You can do this with 2 people and above, but you don't want to do this alone. But you want someone in charge of all the notes, right? The brain dump. When someone is writing all these ideas out, you want to make sure that they're being written down and maybe posted around the room. So for example, I've done this numerous times with different companies where we'll take, maybe a few days away from the company, and then we'll go into like a conference room or a board room. And then what we'll do is we'll take sticky notes and we'll post it all around the board. Sometimes the small sticky notes, the big sticky notes, whatever it is. And we'll just post that around the room so we can see what exactly is going on, and with this brain dump. This also helps with company planning too, but that's another topic for another time. So you want to get all these ideas on the table about what the company core values should be. And in the mix of that, you're going to find that your company core values are going to birth a mission statement. Okay. But we're not talking about mission statements today. We're just talking about the core values. Okay. So you're going to find that as you go through that, you're going to give birth to a mission statement because they kind of go hand in hand. Next is you're going to organize and create a summary. Okay. So you're going to take all these ideas and you're going to bring them together. You're going to narrow them down and you're going to say, okay, does this align with what we want our future to be? Because remember, in this brain dump, right, there's going to be all kinds of weird ideas that come out. Like I said, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't limit yourself. Don't like brush something off like that's stupid, right? No, just put it on paper. That's the most important part. Just get it on paper and have it sitting there until you go to organization mode. So this process right here, right, all ideas on the table, this may take you an hour. By the way, this entire process is not something you chomp out in 30 minutes or less. This could take you a few hours, but it sets the tone for your company for the future. So keep that in mind. Next, while you're organizing and summarizing, this could take you like less than 30 minutes to just knock out all the brain dump that's been on the table. The brain dump, all the ideas, maybe 1 hour. And what you want to do, a little suggestion here, is you want to limit the time, give yourself a time frame, maybe for each segment, right? So each segment you give like 1 hour definitely for a brain dump ideas, right? So limit yourself so that you are not going 2-3 hours into one segment. And the reason why I say that is because I've been in some bigger company meetings, sometimes with 100 people and 50 people and 10 people. And all of a sudden, when everybody's ideas are flowing and there's brain dumps going on everywhere, this can turn into a multiple hour process. Okay. If it's just 2 or 3, it's a little easier to maintain, but you have to have some guidelines so that everybody is organized and set up some timestamps so that people can stay within the time zone. Does that make sense? Yeah. So do that. I remember the last one I just did with a company, the last company core values I just did with a company in Uganda. And it literally was an all-day process. But that was because there was 30 directors. There was 30 directors, including the CEO and the owners of the company. So it was a full process. So and then we went back the following week to narrow it all down because it was just a lot. There was a lot going on, and it was very new to them. They never created core values. They had one big goal, but they never had company core values in their company. So that can happen. So you want to definitely create those timestamps. Okay. All right. Next is after you organize and summarize it, right, and you have it chopped down. What you want to do is you want to let them hear you, and that doesn't mean you actually get a horn and jump in the streets, but basically, after you narrow this down, you do want to promote it. You do want to let people know what it is. Because when you do that, you're able to get your message out. People are going to hear what it is. So for example, let's look at, and I'm going to pull up a few examples here as well. But remember how we saw the Coca-Cola? How can I pull this up for a second? Oh, there we go. Remember? Oh, wait, not yet. I'm going to show you two right now, but I don't want them to show yet. Remember how I showed you Nikes and Coca-Colas, right? As an example. So those are broadcasted. They're now public. They're now live to the world, right? And that's the announcement. You want to bring attention to it when it's live, okay? After it's complete. I want to also show you. I want to show you one from Airbnb. Let's move this over here so we can still get a little facial going on here. Okay. So if you look at Airbnb's here. This is their core values, right? To host, to champion the mission, and be a serial entrepreneur, embrace the adventure. So, with Airbnbs, I don't know what over here. if you're reading be a host, champion the mission, right? This is their core value. This is their core values. But they're champion the mission, right? That is a whole nother thing. That's part of their mission statement. That's not part of their core values. Be a serial entrepreneur, right? Why they want to instill that into their core values is because the company was founded by an entrepreneur. It wasn't founded by, a conglomerate or a branch off of another company or a split company. It was founded by, I think, two entrepreneurs who were, I think with some friends who were, if I recall the story. It's a great story, by the way. You should definitely check it out on YouTube. But they found a need because they were sleeping on air mattresses. And the way Airbnb started was that the guy's name, Jack Dorsey? I forget the CEO's name, the founder's name. But they created the Airbnb experience out of air mattresses. That was how it started. Remember, it started small. So they have this idea that people should become entrepreneurs within their organization. And that's so true because when you think about Airbnb, how many people have created multiple streams of income using Airbnb as one platform where they've created short-term rentals or they've bought property and posted it on Airbnb. So it creates an entrepreneur in the user as a host. They've actually created entrepreneurs. They've turned hosts into entrepreneurs. Okay. So some people would just, host a room. Maybe they've turned it to a whole property or a bread and breakfast, right? They've increased this. Actually, I have a friend who owns a bed and breakfast in Massachusetts. And for years, she's had this bed and breakfast for many, many years. And one of the things when these apps started coming out, she started using them more to sustain the generation difference, right? From baby boomers who would typically, find it through word of mouth. But then she started using resources like Airbnb. That's made a big impact on her business. And also embrace the adventure. Embrace the adventure is a really good thing because, for every entrepreneur, right? You should probably know this by now that being an entrepreneur and being in business is an adventure. It's a journey. Right? It definitely is a journey. There's going to be a lot of highs and a lot of lows. All right. So the next thing I wanted to show you as an example for company core values is HubSpot. Maybe you don't know HubSpot, but they are a marketing company. They're a marketing CRM and platform. I love theirs because this is very simple. They broke it down into an acronym. We like people with heart, humble, empathetic, adaptable, remarkable, transparent. So you see that they have a core values that when they hire people, they want people with those character quality traits. And that's who it attracts. Remember, when your core values are public and it's out there and people are looking to work for your organization, or maybe you're looking to hire a VA, these values connect to other people. Remember, these are all abstract things, right? These are all abstract words. But they have a really big impact on someone's heart, like literally heart, right? They can have an impact on people's values in life, and they'll connect with that. So yes, of course, today people want to make sure that a company is, sustainable and going to have a long-term growth and sustainability. But look at COVID, for example. When COVID hit, a lot of companies went out of business, and sometimes things are not predictable. But the reality is people want to feel like they are accepted, that they are appreciated, that they're working in a place that has heart, that a place that does have core values in mind. So HubSpot is I love how they break this down. They actually have this painted. I don't know if they still have it in their current building. They've moved, they've expanded, but they used to have these core values painted on a big wall. And I had a tour of HubSpot many years ago, and they actually had this posted up in their facility. Really nice. Also, another company that I really learned a lot from was a company called Infusionsoft. They recently sold their business, and I was an Infusionsoft consultant, and I spent many trips going to their offices. I mean, they were so big. I think they ended up putting a football field inside of one of their facilities. It was like it modeled a football field. It was huge. I mean, the whole building. I mean, they had hundreds and hundreds of employees, and it was a very large building. And multiple buildings, actually. It wasn't even just one. And the company culture there was amazing. I took my skill set and what I learned from Infusionsoft, and I infused it actually into other companies that would hire me as a consultant. So again, I took my experience from other organizations that had bigger companies and had systems and also had these core values and missions in place, and I would infuse it into my client's organization. And you know what the end result is? Success, prosperity for my clients, clarity, more confidence in the employees to them seeing where they're going, and most importantly, cash flow. At the end of the day, it helped my clients get more cash flow than they ever had before in their company. And that's the best part, right? Because when you have cash flow in your company, you can do more things, you can put it into more marketing, you can give your people more incentives and bonuses, and heck, you can live better yourself. You can have your company pay for more things out of your business. Give yourself some bonuses. Why not, right? So that's the beauty about having this vision for your company, because it gets everyone on board. They have to see where the company is going and to see what the future is, because people will work harder for something bigger than themselves. People will work harder for a vision and a mission. And the core values is the glue that kind of keeps that all together. The core values is the glue that keeps the employees and the business owner in line and in check with where the mission is. So I encourage you to get started on your core values. If you need to go back and rewind, you can do that after this is uploaded and the replay. But just dive in and do it for your own company so that you can have this. Again, even if you are just one in your company, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you're just one. But remember, do this either with a spouse, a friend, or a business partner. If you're just one, or someone that you trust, a coach or a mentor, do it with someone that you can trust and that supports you so that you can grow this. And if you're doing this with a small team, that's even better. Do it with the team in your company. Fantastic. All right, guys, it's been a great day. We're going to wrap it up here. And I hope this was helpful to you. By the way, if you have any questions or you need some resources about this, you can post it in the comments and I'll definitely get back to you. Also, want to let you know that, again, we are narrowing down the days. So if you do want to, like some of you have already done, if you have any topics that you'd like me to cover before the end of Crushing COVID, let me know. If not, what I'll do is I'll take those responses and I will get them on the next show that's coming out in June. So looking forward to it. And guys, I want to wish you a great day. Happy Memorial Day for those in the United States. And yeah, go out and have an awesome day. It's beautiful and sunny out over here. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care.
So I was outside cleaning my truck. Yes, I still clean my truck. Lo and behold, FedEx comes, and guess what's inside? Let's see here. Oh yeah, my first check, you guys. Can you see that? $34,000.
You can do this! I believe in you! All right, give yourselves a round of applause.
With the Fearless Millionaire program, and before taking the program, I was having trouble being comfortable on the phone, knowing what to say to people, and just putting more money in my pocket. And I can honestly say,
I am a fearless millionaire.
give up. You are fearless millionaire. Yeah, it's right now. This is a video right now. Hello. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, like this.
Jangan tinggalkan